What's up, guys? We're back at it again with Touchdown Talk. I'm ZB, Zack Brown. Big week wrapping up in college football. Tons of upsets. And finally, we are here at NFL Week 1 kickoff here in a couple days. Let's talk about it. Let's go over all the action that happened in college football this past weekend, highlighting the big things. The biggest story probably coming out of it is Coach Deion Sanders of the Colorado Buffaloes go into Texas, take on the defending runner-ups in the national championship, the TCU Horned Frogs. I call them the Horny Toads. No one expected Colorado to do anything. The old coaches in broadcasting and retired coaches and everything, they didn't give Deion a chance. They said, you can't just get rid of everybody and bring in 80 new people. That's just not how college football works. Well, times have changed, if you haven't noticed, people. And with the NIL, Coach Sanders is doing what he needs to build a culture. And he's doing everything the right way. And he brought in all new people to change the entire culture of this entire football team and university. It was a joke last year. Now they've gone into TCU and they come up with a humongous upset. And it's probably already going to be going down as the game of the year in college football. What just incredible game. Back and forth. Defense apparently didn't exist. It was hot, so defenses were definitely exhausted. I can't imagine what that number 12, that Hunter guy on Colorado, I can't imagine how exhausted he was after the game. 110 snaps or something. Just what an absolute dog, though. That guy is a definition of versatile and an Iron Man, and he can get it done. And Shedeur Sanders, I apologize if I brutalized that. 510 yards passing, 100-yard receiver 4 times, 4 different 100-yard receivers. Are you kidding me? Can we say Heisman watch already? That entire Colorado Buffaloes team is just loaded with talent. And Coach Sanders is doing the things the right way. Prime is once again succeeding in something he's putting his mind to. He's done it in everything he does. I mean, he did it in NFL, did it in MLB, he did it in broadcasting, and now he's doing it in coaching. And there were doubters, and I think he can start silencing those doubters. And, yeah, you can always expect there to be some sort of fall-off coming up, especially a game against Nebraska. Nebraska's kind of rebuilding as well. I don't think Prime is going to allow his team to do that. He expects so much out of these guys, and they understand that. They've bought into this culture. They know what it takes to be successful. They know that their coach is one of the greatest football players of all time, greatest athletes of all time, mind you. So, yeah, they trust it. They trust the system. And I love how he doesn't have captains on the team. He has leaders and dogs, just modernizing who are the guys on that team. His son is a leader, and Hunter, the Iron Man of the team, well, he's a dog, and I love that. That's really cool. Just changing things up. He's modernizing football, but he's also sticking to old school ways. And he said it earlier this week, it's almost a militaristic style of practices they do. He expects the best out of everybody and doesn't want any complaining, wants them to do the things the right way, because they do the small things right, everything will come together at the end. So congrats to Coach Prime Deion Sanders getting his first win at Colorado of many, I believe. Only takes one more to double the wins from last year, so I mean they're already at a strong start for that. Awesome stuff to see. I'm excited to see what Colorado's going to do the rest of the year. Do I think they're going to go to the national championship? No. they've got a tough schedule. They've got obviously USC coming up in a few weeks. That's going to be tough, but they've got a very much winnable schedule overall, and they can definitely make a pretty decent bowl game. And in his first year, that is a huge success. And I know he doesn't want to hear anything less than national championship, but I'm trying to be realistic. But I would love to see him fight for a playoff position. Next year, with the playoffs expanded to 12 teams, I could see that. But right now, we'll kind of play it by ear. But it's really cool to see Colorado just having that significant turnaround. I had a feeling that Prime was going to be able to do that. I didn't know he was going to do it that quickly and going into Texas and to TCU, the defending runner-ups of the National College Athletic Association in Division I football. I didn't expect them to go in there and just play an amazing game. And his son is just ice cold. He's got ice in his veins, and he just lights out. I can't wait to see him do it more throughout the year. Highlighting also, touching on some of the bigger games that happened. The Penn State-West Virginia game. Everybody's like, oh, you can't open up against Penn State in a whiteout. First of all, it's not a whiteout. That's not the whiteout game this year. Sorry about it. It looks similar to it, but it was the helmet-striped game. If you looked closely, actually looked far away when they zoomed out, there was the helmet stripe in the middle. So get it right, people. People that aren't Penn State fans, I don't think realize that. So I just wanted to correct that. West Virginia came out fighting. They were very, very tough up front. The offensive line, defensive line, very solid on West Virginia. Obviously, Penn State, there's high expectations this year. And I do want to touch on the quarterback, Drew Aller. He's going to be something. And it's just not about just his stats and him slinging the ball, which was really cool to see. And reminds me of very Josh Allen-esque type of throwing, and his mechanics are very similar to Josh Allen from what I'm seeing, just from one game. But his pocket presence and his awareness, coming up to the line, checking everything, checking to different audibles, and as a college quarterback, he's not looking to the sideline expecting something else to happen. I love seeing that. I love seeing a kid go up there and command an offense and bring out the best in everybody. And he has just humongous football IQ, and it's very refreshing to see, and not have the very stereotypical college quarterback that you see just looking at the sideline, reading the pictures and whatever they've got over there that the coaches are doing. He's up there. He's controlling it. He is calling audibles and showing where there might be blitzes, pointing out the mic. Very impressive. Penn State's got Delaware this week, so I'm not too concerned about that. But West Virginia, honestly, they were pretty solid. Again, up front is where everything starts. And it could be they brought all the juice for this game and might not have anything left in the tank already. I don't know. But them having definitely the first half, a dominating up front against Penn State, they've got to be pretty impressed and excited to see what their team can do moving forward. Obviously, I want to touch on App State. You can see the hat in the background. They struggled the first half. Starting quarterback, Cheeseburger, Burger is his last name. He apparently suffered a broken hand in the first half early on, and that's what kind of struggled getting the offense going. Aguilar comes in and he starts slinging it. First pass he had, touchdown. He just adds some juice to that offense that they needed, and you could see how that just added to the momentum of the entire team. It brought the defense back up, gave them some juice, gave them some life, and yeah, I mean, that's really all it took. App State eventually took over the game and ended up winning it big. Knocked some cobwebs off, getting some game time reps, new coaching staff, besides the head coach. I mean, I'm glad they opened up against an opponent like Gardner Webb. Gardner Webb's not a bad team, though. They are ranked in FCS, so. But it was a good game to shake off some rust, get into game time reps, and move into Chapel Hill. So that's a big game this week to look forward to for that. Talking about Chapel Hill, UNC versus South Carolina down in Charlotte for the Dukes Mayo Classic opener. It was close for a while, but you can just tell the experience and just a better team prevailed towards the second half and into the end of the game. Drake May looks really good. He was slinging it out there. I still was most impressed with Shadur Sanders as the quarterback this weekend out of college football. But UNC gets a big time win over South Carolina. It was basically they needed to showcase who they were, start off strong, and hopefully they can struggle this week against App State. So that'd be nice. And not a whole lot to really touch on with UNC. I mean, they you can go back. It was close for a while, and again, they just started pulling away and didn't look back. And big time upset. I guess you could say an upset. Brian Kelly called a shot and saying, "We're going to go down to Florida State and just dominate them." Well, that didn't work. Don't talk shit unless you're backing it up. It was a close game for a while. LSU had too many errors, and Florida State took advantage of it, and their quarterback was just absolute dog in that. Florida State pulled away and just dominated LSU in the whole second half. I mean, that's what it was. I don't think anybody expected Florida State to do that to LSU. I don't even know if anybody really picked Florida State to beat LSU. In general, LSU is expected to have a really big time year. So it's the first game of the year. If there's a game to lose, it's the first one because you can win, 10, 11 in a row and still have a chance at making the college football playoff. But strong start for Florida State. Florida State fans have got to be excited. It's been a long time coming for them to get back to what they used to be. And big upset on Labor Day evening. Clemson and Duke played. Clemson's ranked top 10. Duke is not ranked. And Clemson always has high expectations every year. I mean, you got Dabo Swinney, one of the best college football coaches in the country right now. Well, Clemson just had mistake after mistake, and Duke said, "We're just going to smack you in the mouth." And they win by 3 scores. No one expected that. So whoever bet on Duke winning, congrats to you, because they just punched him in the mouth and didn't look back. Impressive stuff by Duke, and very big disappointment for Clemson. So we'll see what Dabo does to adjust and see what he's got for the rest of the season. Definitely curious to see what all they are going to do with that. All right. We are at it. It is finally here. I've got my Birds hat on. It is kickoff week in the NFL for the 23-24 season. Hold on. I just gotta cover your ears if you need to, because it's good. Woo! Yeah, we're here. Football's back. Ha! And as an Eagles fan, there's high expectations going into the year. And it's weird because Eagles fans were used to having lower expectations because we're used to disappointment. But being in the Super Bowl, the Eagles are looking to bounce back, get back to it, and win the whole thing. Jalen has had that screensaver of him walking off the field on his own phone from the Super Bowl loss as motivation to get back there and get it done. Let's preview some of these games. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to go I guess, picture-in-picture type of thing. Trying something new. And we're going to go to this one website that you can choose and predict which teams will win, and we're going to go through the teams, and I'm going to give a little bit of analysis of the games coming up. So we'll see how this goes, and let me know if you like it. All right, yeah. Well, let's do week 1 predictions.
All right, we've got the first week of matchups in the NFL. Going to go through them, predict them. Starting off with this game right here, the Lions and Chiefs. Who'd have thought the Lions would ever be here to open up a season? Obviously, everybody would expect the Chiefs to open up a season. I mean, people expect them to win Super Bowls. But nobody expect the Lions to be a part of game day kickoff, season kickoff. It's crazy. I know the Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. Last time I checked, they're at home. A lot of emotion, ring ceremony, raising the banner, all of that fun stuff. But Coach Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions, he's not overlooking this. He's been looking forward to this his entire offseason as soon as the schedule got released. And they're going to play damn hard. Detroit plays so hard for this coach. I think Detroit will cover, but I think Patrick Mahomes will have some more magic up his sleeve once again. I'm going to have the Chiefs over the Lions 24-21 on a last-second Harrison Butker field goal. Moving on to Sunday. All the games on Sunday, so let's go through all of them. Let's go through some AFC, and then there's AFC versus NFC, and then all NFC. So let's talk about the Jaguars and Colts right over here. Colts, Jonathan Taylor still has contract disputes, so he's not going to be playing. He's out for the first 4 weeks at least. I'm sure there's some trade partners being looked at right now. But you got to look at the Jaguars. There's so much hype built around them already. Got a playoff win last year. Trevor Lawrence another year under the Doug Peterson era. I think he's going to be very good this year. I think the Jaguars will be very good. I know I'm predicting them to win the AFC South by a lot, actually, by at least 3-4 games. Jaguars over the Colts week 1. All right, Bengals-Browns, AFC North battle opening up the week. Browns, can Deshaun Watson get back to himself? We'll see. They got Amari Cooper. They got just amazing defense right now. And on the Bengals, looks like Joe Burrow's healthy. And he hasn't had a contract year yet this year. It's coming, but he's focused on winning. It shows a lot about his character, a lot about his leadership. So what more can be said? It's going to be a lot of fireworks, I think, in this game, but I think the Bengals will be too much. I think Joe Burrow will be too much, and Jamar Chase will have a big time. Week 1, Bengals over the Browns, 27-17. No, I didn't give the Jaguars score. 28-13 Jaguars over the Colts. Moving on, the Texans and Ravens. Texans are in the C.J. Stroud era. Can C.J. Stroud be the guy? Can he be the franchise guy for the Texans? We'll see. It starts off now, and against the Ravens defense, it's pretty solid. Lamar Jackson getting the new contract. You got Zay Flowers on the outside with Odell Beckham Jr. I think it'll be a very explosive offense. I think the Ravens will win this fairly easily. I'm going with the Ravens 28-16 over the Texans in Week 1. Coming down here to the Raiders and Broncos. This is a very intriguing matchup. New coach for the Broncos, Sean Payton. Can he bring out the best in Russell Wilson? Can he get him back on track to what he was before? And can the Raiders in the Jimmy Garoppolo era find success. Very tricky. This might be a pretty boring game. This might be a lot of defense in this game. I don't expect it to be too high scoring. Yeah, it's tricky. But I think a lower scoring game than most games. I'm picking the Broncos to win 20-14 over the Raiders. Broncos defense is still very good. I think they'll bring a lot of pressure onto Jimmy Garoppolo. Dolphins Chargers. Probably the opposite of what's going to happen of that last game we talked about. I think it's going to be a very offensive-minded game, offensive explosions happening. I'm excited to see it. Tyreek Hill, I think he's going to have an incredible year. I think he could be the first receiver to get to 2,000 yards. I thought it was going to happen last year, but the pace slowed down a little bit. But then the Chargers, you got Justin Herbert, gets that big contract. I don't even know who to pick here. That's going to be an exciting game. Week 1 matchups are awesome right now. NFL did a great job scheduling all this stuff. But if Tua remains healthy this year, I think the Dolphins will have a big-time year. I don't know if they'll win the division or not. That's a tough division. The AFC is just wide open this year. Again, I think there's going to be an offensive explosion happening in this game. I'm going with the Dolphins over the Chargers, 35-31. Sticking with Sunday matchups, we're going to AFC versus NFC, then we'll go into the primetime matchups to finish up. 49ers versus Steelers. Doesn't look like Nick Bosa's contract is going anywhere. As I'm recording this, nothing has happened. So if it changes, the whole mindset of the 49ers changes for week 1. Nick Bosa brings you so much. But then the Steelers have TJ Watt. This will be just an awesome game to watch. Which edge rusher, if Nick Bosa plays, will have the biggest impact in this game? If Nick doesn't play, it's up to TJ Watt to make big plays for the Steelers, give them opportunities, because I think Kenny Pickett can have a big-time year if given the right opportunities and if he's being put in the right positions. He had a really good preseason. I know you're not supposed to really look too much into preseason, but it was very impressive to me. Brock Purdy should be back for the Niners after they just traded Trey Lance, so he's out of there. I am looking at, but the Steelers are home. I think it'll be a hard, gritty game. I think it's going to be very close. I'm picking Steelers 21-20 over the 49ers. Another intriguing matchup. Tennessee Titans versus the New Orleans Saints. You got a brand new receiver for the Titans, DeAndre Hopkins, and then a brand new quarterback for the Saints, Derek Carr. Derek Carr looks yoked right now. He got into the gym, did arm day every day. And he brings you a veteran mentality. He's more above average than quarterback than anything. I guess you could say a decent mediocre quarterback, if you will. And Tannehill's been struggling, but I think the Saints' defense is going to be solid, and I think the Titans' defense will be solid as well. If Tannehill starts struggling, it's going to get very loud to have Will Levis play. Tennessee's a very passionate fan base, so they're starting to get impatient with Tannehill. But I think with the Saints in the Superdome and Derek Carr's debut, I think you'll see some fireworks down there in New Orleans. I'm going 27-20, New Orleans over the Titans. Pop up. All right. The game, obviously, I'm going to be focusing on. Eagles travel up to Foxborough, to Gillette Stadium, for Tom Brady's jersey retirement and inductee to the Ring of Honor and all that fun stuff. Patriots got rid of all their quarterbacks except Mac Jones in the cuts this preseason. I know they signed some other veteran backup, but I don't like to jinx things. On paper, yes, the Eagles are definitely better, but you're not playing Bill Belichick on paper. I still think Jalen Hurts is going to do a lot of things for the Eagles this season. Knock on wood, they stays healthy. I'm intrigued to see the new rookies on the Eagles defense, and I'm just ready for this damn game. I don't like to jinx it, but I still think the Eagles are going to be too much for the Patriots. I'm picking the Eagles 34-17 over the Patriots week 1. All right. Couple dumpster fire organizations here, and let me just scroll over for you so you can see. See what I mean? The Cardinals and Commanders. Dumpster fire organizations. Cardinals are a new regime with Jonathan Gannon, and he's had press conferences opening up just kind of like Nick Sirianni did. Like, who the hell is this guy? Oh, Cardinals just... I don't know. I picked them as the worst team in the league for a reason. I think Kyler Murray's done there. Likely, Dobbins is going to get the start. Washington's going to be home. I don't know how much of home field advantage it is with leaky pipes and poop drains everywhere leaking on people. I don't know. But the Cardinals are just not good. The Commanders at least have some hope and promise on offense. Sam Howell appears to be pretty decent. And with Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson on offense, I think they'll be a very formidable opponent. I'm picking the Commanders in this game 24-9. I don't think the Cardinals score a touchdown. Panthers-Falcons. This will be interesting. 2 rookies. One at quarterback, one at running back. Bryce Young making his debut for the Carolina Panthers, and then Bijan Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons. Can the Panthers' run defense hold up against Bijan and the entire Atlanta Falcons run game? Because they're going to be run first, big time. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I think there'll be a lot of growing pains between the two teams. But I'm going to be... yeah, that was good. Yeah. I'm picking the Falcons over the Panthers in a low scoring, highly contested game, 16-10. Buccaneers and Vikings. You're in the post-Tom Brady era now, Buccaneers fans. I'm sorry. It was fun while it lasted, right? You got Baker Mayfield as a starting quarterback now. Pretty much every other piece is virtually the same. And then on the opposite side, you add some more weapons for the Vikings. On the offensive side, I believe his name is Madison, if I'm not mistaken. Addison, not Madison. Addison. Yeah, Jordan Addison, that's right. With him and Justin Jefferson, that could be a big-time receiving duo this year. And I'm actually going to go into the NFL awards here in a minute, who I think can take away the big awards this year as a preseason predictor. But in this game, the Vikings are just going to be too much for the Buccaneers. Honestly, I think it's going to be a big-time blowout, really. Vikings at home, 34-13, Vikings over the Buccaneers. Packers, Bears. Can the Packers still be the owners of the Bears? We will see. I'm intrigued to see the post Aaron Rodgers era. I think Jordan Love's going to be a very good quarterback. I think Justin Fields is going to have a big year. You add DJ Moore, and if you can solidify that offensive line, if they have good games, Justin Fields can have a really big breakout year. Bears are at home. It's a tough environment, always at Soldier Field. I'm going with the Bears over the Pack on this, 24-20. Rams at Seahawks. Rams looks like Cooper Kupp's not going to be good to go. That'll make things a lot more difficult for them. And Seahawks are home, and it's always tough to play in Seattle. I'm picking the Seahawks to win pretty decently over the Rams. 27-16 Seahawks. Sunday Night Football, it seems to be a tradition now. Cowboys and Giants. This is a lot more highly anticipated game than I think it was last year. I don't think anybody expected the Giants to do as well as they did. Can Daniel Jones take that next step in the season? Can he be the guy officially that can earn that contract that he just signed? And then on the other side, is Dak Prescott going to continue with his struggles, or is he going to get over the hump and get some playoff wins and make a run at the Super Bowl? I hope not for either one of these teams. I'll watch it. I don't like anyone in the NFC East, though, of course, because I'm an Eagles fan. If Eagles fans, you're watching this, you know. But I'm going in a shocking, I guess you could say upset. 30-27. Giants over the Cowboys. And Monday Night Football. If you've watched Hard Knocks, you've got to be excited about this. I've watched Hard Knocks. This is really the first year I've watched it. I am very excited to see what Aaron Rodgers does with the Jets, how much noise he can make in the AFC. And the Bills are coming to town. That's not an easy game. Prime time. I mean, there's going to be fireworks. You got an amazing Jets defense. You got a very good Bills defense, but you got amazing offenses. Who knows what's going to happen? I think you're about middle ground of what the scoring is going to be. I think it's going to be back and forth all night. Jets being home, though, and I know New Yorkers and I know New York Jets fans, they can be almost as rowdy as, if not more rowdy, than Eagles fans. I'm picking Jets over the Bills. Monday Night Football. 28-27. Highly contested game. Well, there you have it. Take a look at the screen. Screenshot it. You can make me look like a fool next week when I'm wrong about pretty much every single one of them. We will see what happens.
All right, there you have it with the Week 1 predictions for the NFL. We'll see how it all shakes out. Anything can happen. This is just kind of see what's on paper. A lot of excitement coming up. So glad football is back. Going through some of the awards I think are going to happen with a way too early predictions for the yearly awards. Let's dive into this. For Offensive Rookie of the Year, I forgot his name apparently, but I think he's going to have a big year for the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm one of the few people that's actually kind of picking this guy. I think he's flying under the radar. Being alongside Justin Jefferson is going to do him a lot of good. I'm picking Jordan Addison as the Offensive Rookie of the Year. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, I hope I'm not jinxing him. A lot of high expectations for this guy that was drafted this high in the draft this past year. Fell to the Eagles somehow. I'm picking Jalen Carter as Defensive Rookie of the Year. Going into the Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's a big bounce back year. I think he will stay healthy. And I think this team is also flying under the radar for everybody. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm picking T.J. Watt as Defensive Player of the Year, making him a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, usually it goes to some sort of running back or receiver. I'm picking a receiver this year. I think he has a big-time year. I'm picking Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, as the Offensive Player of the Year. MVP this year, I don't want to jinx anything, so kind of shying away from you-know-who. But I think this is also a name that's got to be mentioned. I think they'll have a big year too. Joe Burrow as my pick for the MVP this season. All right, finishing off, talking about some college football. Week 2 is kind of a letdown from all the fireworks that happened in Week 1. Obviously, you got Penn State, Delaware. They're playing. If Delaware beats Penn State, I quit the season. I'm over it. App State for me, is the biggest game happening this weekend. App State travels to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. Can App State come away with another upset victory in Chapel Hill? We will see. UNC looked very good. App State struggled the first half, picked up the second half. That quarterback Aguilar looks like the real deal. So we'll see what App can do. That defense does concern me for this season. Very young defensive lineman, undersized defensive lineman. That could be a problem throughout the year. Probably the biggest game this weekend is where College Game Day is going. Texas, Alabama. When this comes out, it'll be 2 top 10 teams because Texas will move up with Clemson falling out. But Alabama escaped with a win in Texas last year. Texas hadn't won. They should have won. But Alabama's home. And that's pretty huge for Alabama. Their quarterback is jacked this year. Of course, now they're going from enormous running backs to enormous quarterbacks. Why not, Alabama? Let's just stop. I'm picking Alabama with a pretty solid win in this one. 42-31. Comfortable win. I don't even think it'll be as close as what the score says. We'll see how long Texas will keep Arch Manning out. I know there's a lot of buzz about him. He's third quarterback right now. They got until, I believe, after the 4th week to redshirt him. I'd expect them to do that unless something catastrophic happens. Just sit him out. He doesn't need to play right now. He's just a kid. Let him figure out things his freshman year. Just because he's a Manning doesn't mean he's ready. That's really the biggest game this week, looking at the whole schedule. USC Stanford could be possibly a decent game. Stanford, that game's traditionally in the past been really good. And I don't know what's considered Pac-12 anymore because it's like the Pac-2. So that's the latest game. I'm excited to see what Colorado does in this week against Nebraska. They should be ranked at least top 25, if not top 20. Talking about Colorado, so excited to see what Coach Prime does in that game with his players and see how they respond after a big-time win. I believe it is in Boulder this season. This game, goodness gracious. And first home game for Prime. I think it'll be packed out. I think there'll be a lot of high TV ratings for it. But that does it. I mean, let's get into it. Let's get to football. I mean, we're here. The NFL kickoff's here. We are in full swing of college football. Exciting year. Go ahead, check out the rest of the page. I release, obviously, some gaming stuff with Madden, some racing stuff. If you like racing, go check out the Racing Podcast, Horsepower Talk. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified anytime this podcast gets released. Do it weekly. Depending on work schedule, it's when it gets released. I always try to make sure it's right after Monday Night Footballs and right before Thursday Night Kickoffs. So, go ahead, tell somebody about it. If you're listening to this, make sure you follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other stuff that you can get podcasts on. And, follow all social media. I'm on TikTok, the X, so it's at the real ZB93. We'll see you guys next week and recapping the big week in football action. Have a good one, guys.